Okay, let's take some time now to settle the body to prepare for our yoga practice. Sitting in a comfortable and steady position. Spine is straight and head and neck is aligned. The spine, eyes are lightly closed, mouth is slightly closed. Breathing in gently through the nostrils. Hands are on the knees in a mudra of your choice. Just take a few moments now to concentrate on the natural breath. Just observing how on the inhalation, the chest expands and the abdomen expands. And then on the exhalation, the chest subsides and the abdomen subsides. And take a long, deep inhalation. When you exhale, release all the events of the day. Separate yourself from what happened today and allow yourself to be right here in this moment. And again, another long, deep inhalation, this time releasing any conversations that you've had today, whatever form they've taken. Just let them all go. And one more time, this time on the exhalation, releasing any thoughts, any preoccupations about what you need to do outside of the class. And just bring your attention to be right here, right now. There's nothing else you need to do right now, but to be present. Now bring the awareness to the eyebrow center. And at this point, visualize a steady candle flame. And just observe how the glow and the warmth from this flame illuminates all parts of the body and the mind and the spirit. And with this visualization in mind, we'll now chant Om 3 times and Om Shanti and the Shanti mantra to pay respect to our traditions and to each other. Breathing in first for Om chanting. Om. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvinadvatitamastu, Mavid Vishavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. And so keeping the eyes closed for a few moments, the focus of this class is actually on focus. It's on concentration and clarity. And what you may find is that clarity comes from not trying to force the mind to be quiet, but giving it a steady object to focus on, a place for the mind to rest. And so through this class, you can do that in a number of ways. Often keeping the eyes closed when we go through the asanas is a good way to do that, focusing on the breath, or even when we are doing the asanas, even focusing on the area of the body that the asana is influencing or affecting is a good way to bring the mind in. As a piece of advice I was always taught from a mentor of mine She would always say, put your head where your hands are. So to bring yourself back to focus on what you're doing. And so that can really work well, particularly in a yoga class. So we'll begin by coming up to a standing position for our first asana, which is Tadasana. So standing first, just first of all, just with legs hip width apart, feeling steady and balanced on your feet. Let the arms hang loose. Just check that the spine is straight, your shoulders are back and down and relaxed, and head and neck are aligned. If you can, keep the eyes closed gently, but if you prefer to keep them open for your own balance, that's fine too. But just take a few moments feeling steady and strong and balanced in this position. And now bringing the feet a little closer together, clasp the hands together and bring them down in front of the body. Keep the eyes open for this practice because we'll be sort of doing a little balancing posture. So focus the gaze on a point in front of you that's not moving, and that helps with your practice. And it also helps to really focus the mind as well. So now bring the arms up above the body, straight above the head. And as you do this, come onto the front of the feet, raising the heels up and really stretch through the body. It's a full body stretch. And then gently bring the hands back to the top of the head and release the heels down to the floor. This is one round. Complete another 4 rounds of the practice, holding the last round for as long as you can. And make sure that you breathe in the practice as well. So if you wanted to do it with the breathing, inhale as you bring the body up and arms up, and then exhale as you bring it down. When you're holding though for a longer period of time, please breathe while you're in the upward position. After you finish your final round in your own time, come back to a standing Shavasana, keeping the eyes closed now, allowing the arms to hang loose and just observing the effects of the practice. Now, continuing in a standing position, bring the legs again to hip width apart. Our next asana will be Hasta Uttanasana. So for this, again, just check that the shoulders are relaxed and down. Cross the wrists in front of the body. And inhale, as you inhale, bring the arms up, cross above the head, tilting the head back slightly. And then exhale, open the arms up, palms to the ceiling, stretching out through the arms, expanding the chest. Inhale, cross the arms in front of the body again. And then exhale as you bring them down in front of the body. This is 1 round. Complete another 4 rounds, really trying to synchronize the breath with the movement, aiming for that body breath mind connection. After you finish your final round again, coming back to that standing Shavasana, allowing the arms to hang loose and just taking a few moments just to observe the effects on the body, also on the mind, focusing on where the mind's at right now. Next, we'll do a spinal twist, also in a standing position, Kati Chakrasana. So again, the legs can be hip width or a little bit wider apart. For this practice, bring the right hand to the left shoulder. Wrap the left hand behind the waist and then turn the head so it's gazing over the left shoulder. Now, you can either keep the hips front on or you can twist the hips around. Exhale, bringing the arms out to the side. And then inhale, bringing the left hand onto the right shoulder, right hand around, gazing over the right shoulder. And then coming back to center. This is one round. Complete another 4 rounds, and you can go as fast or slow as works for you. And then when you've completed the practice again, coming back to that standing Shavasana, arms are loose, and just observing what's happening for you right now. We'll now come down to sitting on the floor. Now, for this one, with your legs, you can either cross them over each other, or you can just sit in a comfortable position. But the focus on this one is the arms. And let me see if I can do this correctly. So this one is called Garudasana arms. So it's called eagle arms. So you're crossing. So you have the right arm first there. You bring the left on over, and then you're touching the bottom of the right palm with the left finger. So it's sort of like you're twisting. Takes a bit of concentration just to get it right. And so we'll just hold that for a few moments. And then when you're ready, we'll untangle ourselves and then do it on the other side. So if you were crossing that way, bring the other leg over now. And then then it's the other arm. Yeah, so for me, the right arm straight. So you've got the right arm and then the left hand is going around and the left fingers are touching the right palm. And just feeling what that's doing. So I can feel it in my shoulder blades and a little bit of pressure on my forearms. and then we'll come out of that one. So we'll now go into what is the opposite of Shavasana. So it's the reverse corpse pose. And this is actually a relaxation position. So lying down on the front of the body with the forehead on the floor. And you can either have the palms down like this and rest the head, or which is also can be very, very relaxing and helping to still the mind. You can just put the forehead on the floor and you can clasp the hands behind the neck. So there's a little bit of sort of light pressure. So you're not pushing, but just the gravity makes it happen. And then you can just rest on the floor. Be sure to breathe. And stay here for 5 breaths. And then release. Now bring the hands down on the floor and clasp them. This time what we're going to do is known as the flapping fish pose. So bring with the hands clasped on the floor, turn the head to the right, and then we're going to bring the right knee up and then the right elbow down towards the knee, so the body's sort of twisted in a little bit of a way to the side there. And again, that's a relaxation pose as well. So stay here for 5 breaths, and then we'll come back to center, and then we'll do it on the left side. And then coming back to center, placing the forehead on the hands, and just feeling the difference between right and left. And then bringing the left knee up and the left elbow towards the left knee, turning the head to the left. I'm placing it on the hands. And again, 5 breaths, easing into the position. And then to come out of the position, bring the hands back to center, leg down to center, and we'll go into Shashankasana, the child's pose. So placing the forearms on the floor, coming back so that the buttocks are near the heels, and then placing the forehead on the floor. Just allow the body to relax into the position. This is a perfect posture to still the mind. It really helps you to go within and calm your nervous system. And now very gently and slowly come up to a seating position for pranayam. So don't move too quickly because we've been with our head down a lot, so you might have a bit of a rush in the head. So very gently come back up. And in a sitting position with the eyes closed, just focusing on the natural breath. And just allowing the breath to regulate from all of the practices we've done so far. And the practice for this class will be, the pranayam practice will be Bhramari Pranayama, which is known as the humming bee breath. So for this one, what you do is you um, close off the ears. So don't put your fingers in the ears, but I'll explain first before you do it. So you use the little sort of flap on the inside of the ear. You just hold that gently in. And with the eyes closed, it helps to, like, the teeth are a little bit apart, and bringing the tongue to the roof of the mouth helps. And what you do is you create a noise which is like a humming noise. So it's like, mm, but you have the ears closed over. Clearly, I've got headphones on, so I can't do it and show you at the same time. But do that. So, and you're using yogic breaths, so full breaths as you do it. So we'll do 5 of those. Now, before you actually finish, though, so when you finish your 5th breath, keep the ears closed over and return to the natural breath and eyes closed, and just allow a few moments for the effects to take place, and then very gently bring your hands down and allow the hearing go in all directions. When you're doing this, a good thing to do is actually place the awareness at the top of the head, so focusing on the top of the head as you're doing the practice. So now 5 breaths in Bhramari Pranayama. And just returning to the natural breath. And then when you're ready, we'll prepare for the practice of Yoga Nidra. So lying down in Shavasana, but get whatever you need to keep you warm, because the body temperature will drop throughout the practice. So it's best to be comfortable. If you have any lower back problems, grab a cushion to put under your knees to support the back. If you're wearing any tight clothing or glasses or anything of that nature, it's best to remove those. Lying down on the back, legs are about hip width away from the body, and all tensions released from the legs and the feet, so the feet flop to the sides. Hands are a little bit away from the body, with the palms facing the sky. And there's balance between the left and the right sides of the body. Eyes and mouth are lightly closed. You may like to tuck in your chin just a little, just to check that the head and neck are aligned with the spine. And take a long, deep inhalation now. And when you exhale, really consciously let the body melt into the floor. Release the body into the floor on the exhalation. And do this once more, a long, deep inhalation. This time when you exhale, release any remaining tension in the body, particularly in the face. Release any expressions, any tightness in the jaw or behind the eyes. Just soften and release the entire body. And feel the body's contact against the floor, beginning first with the heels and the back of the legs against the floor. Feel the contact of the buttocks and the back against the floor. Observe the slight pressure between each vertebrae as it presses against the floor. Feel the contact of the back of the hands, the back of the arms and the shoulders against the floor. And feel the back of the head and neck against the floor. And observe how all of these different points of contact create one singular form of contact between the body and the floor. And become aware now of sounds. Listen first for sounds that are far off in the distance without trying to name or identify the sounds. Just move the awareness from one sound to the next as you hear it. And now move the awareness a little closer, listening for sounds that are just outside the room where you are right now. Again, just moving the awareness from sound to sound. Move the sound awareness even closer now to inside the room where you are. Move the sound awareness now to the sounds inside your body, beginning first with the sound and the sensation of the heartbeat. And now move the sound awareness to the sound and sensation of the natural breath. Release the sound awareness now and call to mind your Sankalpa or positive intention if you have one. Mentally repeat it 3 times now. We'll now rotate the awareness around the body. So listen to my instructions, and when I say the name of a body part, place your awareness there and visualize that part. We'll begin first with the right side of the body and the right hand thumb. First finger, second, third, and little finger, palm of the right hand, back of the right hand, the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, right side of the chest, right waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, ankle, and heel, sole of the right foot, top of the right foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and little toe. And moving now to the left side of the body with the left hand thumb, first finger, second, third, and little finger, palm of the left hand, back of the left hand, the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, left chest, left waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, ankle, and heel, sole of the left foot, top of the left foot, left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and little toe. And now to the back of the body with the heels, back of the legs, the buttocks, the small of the back, the middle of the back, the shoulder blades, the space between the shoulder blades, the back of the neck, and the entire spinal column, the back of the head, and the crown of the head. We'll move now to the face with the forehead, the temples, the eyebrows, and the eyebrow center, the ears, the eyes, the cheeks, the nose, the lips, the jaw, the chin, the throat, the collarbone, and the pit of the throat, the right side of the chest, the left side of the chest, and the center of the chest, the right side of the abdomen, the left side of the abdomen, and the navel, the right side of the pelvis, the left side of the pelvis, and the groin, the whole right leg, the whole left leg, and both legs together, the whole right arm, the whole left arm, and both arms together, the whole torso, the whole neck, the whole head, the whole front of the body, the whole back of the body, and the whole body. Have a sense now, all at once, the whole body. Release the body rotation now and bring the awareness back to the natural breath. And observe how subtle the natural breath has now become. And also observe the rise and fall of the navel in response to the natural breath. And we'll now add a visualization to the natural breath in the following way. You're only just observing the natural breath. You're not changing it in any way, but you'll notice the breath entering the nostrils and leaving through the nostrils. And as you do this, imagine that in each inhalation, it's carrying a fine stream of clear silver blue light. And as you inhale, this light enters through both nostrils and travels gently to the eyebrow center. The space between the eyebrows becomes softly illuminated, clear, cool, and steady. And with each inhalation, the light at the eyebrow center becomes a little brighter, clear, and calm. As you exhale, this clarity spreads through the mind and it moves through the forehead, through the temples, behind the eyes, across the face, through the throat and down into the chest. The mind feels quieter, as though a mist is slowly lifting, as though a lens is being gently cleaned. Anything scattered in your thoughts are settling into stillness. So inhaling clear light to the eyebrow center and exhaling softness throughout the entire body. And if the mind wanders, just use the breath like an anchor to bring it back to the practice. Release the breath visualization now, and instead feel the following opposite sensations in the body. The body is feeling cooler and cooler. The body feels like it's outside on an icy winter's morning. The cool air stings the eyes and the nose, and both begin to run. The face feels cold and numb. The body's feeling colder and colder, like it's outside on an icy winter's morning. Release this feeling of coldness now and replace it instead with a feeling of heat. The body's feeling hotter and hotter. The body feels as though it's lying on the hot sand on a sweltering summer's day at the beach. The sun stings from the heat, and the body's feeling hotter and hotter, like it's lying on the hot sand at the beach on a sweltering summer's day. Release this feeling of heat now. Replace it now instead with a feeling of heaviness, The body's feeling heavier and heavier. The body feels so heavy, it feels like it's made out of concrete. You can feel its heaviness as it presses against the floor. It feels so heavy, it feels like it may even fall through the floor. Release this feeling of heaviness now. Replace it instead with a feeling of lightness. The body's feeling lighter and lighter. It feels like it's barely touching the floor. It feels as light as a cloud drifting through the blue sky on a beautiful spring day. The body's feeling lighter and lighter. It feels like a cloud drifting along the sky. Release this feeling of lightness now. Release all of these sensations completely and allow the body to come back to its natural state. But instead now, come to the space of the mind, the space behind the closed eyes, also known as Chittakash. And in this space, see, imagine, visualize and create the following objects and images. You find yourself walking along a quiet path at night. The air is cool and fresh against your skin, and above you, the sky is deep and wide. The sky is dark blue and is scattered with countless stars. The ground beneath your feet is firm and steady, and you can hear the soft sound of your own footsteps, slow, even and measured. With each step, the noise of day begins to fall away. Thoughts become quieter, the body becomes steadier, and the mind begins to gather. Ahead of you, on a gentle rise, you see a small observatory. Its round roof is open to the night sky. A warm light glows softly from within. The building feels peaceful, simple and safe. A place made for stillness. A place made for seeing clearly. It attracts you, so you walk toward the doorway, and as you step inside, you notice the scent of old timber, cool stone, and the night air. The floor beneath you is smooth, and the room is circular, quiet, and very beautiful in its own way. At the center of the room is an old telescope made of polished brass and dark wood. It's pointed upward towards the open sky. You move closer, and the brass feels cool beneath your fingertips. The wood is smooth from years of careful use. This place has held many moments of watching, waiting, listening and seeing. And you look around the observatory, there are no distractions here. No clutter or noise, only the telescope, the open sky, your steady breath, and the silence. You bring your eye gently to the telescope. At first, the sky appears blurred. Stars are scattered everywhere. Too many points of light and too much to follow all at once. Like the mind when it's full. Like thoughts moving in every direction. You breathe slowly, and as you breathe, your hand finds the focusing wheel. You turn it gently, not forcing, not rushing, just small, careful movements. And the stars begin to sharpen. The blur begins to clear. The scattered light becomes more precise, and you turn the wheel again, softer and slower. And now one star appears in the center of your vision. It's brighter than the others, not the largest or the loudest, but steady, clear, and unmoving. A still star. You rest your attention there, on one point of light, one steady presence. The rest of the sky remains around it, but your awareness stays with this one star. Your mind begins to understand that it does not need to hold everything at once. It does not need to chase every thought or solve every question. It can rest on one point, clear, steady, and quiet. As you continue gazing at the star, you notice its light traveling gently toward you, across the night sky, through the open roof of the observatory, and into the room, toward the eyebrow center. A fine thread of light touches the space between the eyebrows, cool, calm, precise. The light does not push anything away, it simply brings clarity. It gathers the scattered parts of the mind and quietens the unnecessary noise. It reminds you of the still place within you that has always been there, beneath the distraction and worry, beneath the overthinking. There is a point of awareness that remains clear. The star above you and the light within you feel connected now. The same steadiness, the same quiet, and the same clarity. With each inhalation, the light at the eyebrow becomes clearer. With each exhalation, the body softens more deeply. The forehead smooths and the eyes soften. The jaw releases and the shoulders let go. The breath becomes even and the mind becomes spacious. The awareness remains steady. One star, one point, and one breath. You step back from the telescope. The star remains visible above you. You no longer need the telescope to see it. You can sense it within, a clear point of light at the eyebrow center, a quiet inner compass, a place you can return to whenever the mind feels scattered. The observatory slowly becomes still around you and the night sky remains open. The star remains steady and within you that same clarity remains. Rest here for a few moments in the quiet observatory of the mind. Rest in the still star of awareness and rest in the knowing that clarity is already within you. Focus is already within you and stillness is already within you. You only need to return to it. One breath, one point, and one steady light. And carrying this focus now, come back to the mat in the room where you are. And lying on the mat, it's time now to call to mind your Sankalpa, positive intention from the beginning of the practice. Mentally repeat it 3 times now. And begin to feel the breath again in the body, allowing the breath to deepen and observing the movement it creates. Check in with your body and your mind now and observe how you feel at this very moment. The practice of Yoga Nidra is coming to a close. Begin to make small movements with the fingers and the toes, allowing the body to gently externalize. Remember the details of the room where you are. Remember the time of day. And begin to hear the sounds around you and remember the world attached to those sounds. Move and stretch in a way that works for you. You may like to bring the knees to the chest to release the back, or even bring the arms above the head for a full body stretch. You may like to gently move the head from side to side. Whatever you need to do, please do that. And when you're ready in your own time, roll onto the right side just for a few moments. And then very gently and mindfully, with the eyes closed or downcast, slowly come up into a comfortable sitting position. And bring the awareness now to the eyebrow center. And at this point, visualize that point of light that you saw in the observatory. And visualize the glow from that light reaching every part of the body, mind, and spirit. Holding that focus, we'll now chant Om 3 times and Om Shanti to conclude our practice. Breathing in for Om chanting. Om. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Hari Om Tat Sat.